So I'm going to go over exercise 4, problem 2, part B. This question asks us to implement this system using two T flip-flops. So it falls under the implement X using Y problem. So what is X in this case? X is the system that we have right here because it's telling us to implement the system using two T flip-flops. So Y is the two T flip-flops and X is the system. Okay, so we need to identify which one is X, which one is Y first. Now, step 1 is to write out the state table for X. Before, when I did something like implement X using Y, where X is JK, then my state table, I can just get it from here, right? But now I don't have the state table. So we have to write our state table. How do we do that? So what is the state table? State table takes in the inputs and the present states, and it gives us the next states. So we just have to do the same thing here. Our input in this case is x of t, and our present state is anything with t. And next state is anything with t plus 1. So q1 t plus 1, q0 t plus 1 is our next state. So we fill out this half of the table by just having fill it out like before. So anything with t we can fill out. 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. Okay, so now we need to fill out this part. How do we get t1 at t plus 1? We just have to look at the equations that they gave us. So q1 t plus 1 equal to q0 t, or with q1 of t and with x of t. Okay, so how do I fill out this table quickly? Now, notice that this is an OR. So as long as this is a 1 or this is a 1, then my result is gonna give me a 1. So I'm gonna look at the first part first. So q0 of t. If q0 of t is 1, then my result is gonna be a 1 because this is an OR gate. So I'm gonna look here, I'm gonna look at q0 of t, and if this is a 1, I know this is a 1. This is a 1, so my result is a 1. This is a 1, so this is a 1. This is a 1. This is a 1. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the second part because this is 0. Now I'm going to check the second part. If q1 not and with x is a 1, then my result is going to be a 1. So this is an AND. So I know if one of them is 0, then this whole thing is going to be 0. Okay, so this is 0, then this whole thing is 0. So this is going to be 0. This is 0, so I know this is going to be 0. Now this is 1. I'm going to go on and check q naught of 1. So q naught 1 is 0. q1 is 0, so q naught is 1. 1 and with 1 is 1. This is q1 is 1, so naught of that is going to be 0. 0 and with 1 is going to be 0. Okay, so that's just how I do it to make it faster. But if you find looking just plugging in the equation and then go down the list, you find that easier, then you can just do that. Now same thing for q0 t plus 1. I'm just going to look at this formula right here. q0 t plus 1 is q1 XOR with x, or with q0 and with x. So another trick when I do XOR, these two would give me a 1 when they are different. So if I have something A XOR B, then they would give me a 1 if equal to 1 if A is not the same as B, and give me a 0 if they are the same. So that's just how I remember to make it faster. So in this case, I can look at Q1 and X, and I'm going to go down this list and see if they are different. If they are different, I know it's going to be 1 because this is an OR. So as long as this part is a 1, then my result is going to be 1. So I'm going to go down this list. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So these two are different, so I know this is going to be 1. And because this is 1 and this is an OR gate, I know this is a 1. So it's going to be 1. This is going to be 1. Now these two are different as well. So these two are going to be 1. And then these two are the same. So I don't do anything yet. I'm going to go on to check the second part. Okay. Now for the second part, if Q0 or X is 0, then I know this whole part is going to be 0. This is an AND. So if one of them is 0, then the whole thing is going to be 0. Okay. So I'm going to look here, and then I'm going to see these two, X is 0, so this whole part is going to be 0. Okay, so for these two, I know these two are going to be 0. And now I'm going to look, X is 1 now, I'm going to look at Q. So Q is 0, 0, and with 1 is going to give me 0. 1 and with 1 is going to give me 1. Again, this is not mandatory. I'm just telling you the tricks I use to make this process faster. You can just go down the list and you're just going to plug it in and see what you get. That's fine as well. So now that we have the state table for X, my second step is to get the excitation table for Y. And my Y in this case is T flip-flop. So I just need to get the excitation table for T flip-flop. Now let me pull it up. Okay, so excitation table for T flip-flop right here. Just gonna copy it over here. Okay. So what is step 3? Step 3 is to construct a truth table. So remember what I said this truth table is gonna consist of? It needs to have the input and input for X. Okay. And then it needs to have the output for X. And then it needs to have what Y has. So it's going to be T1 and T0. So because our Y is T flip-flops. Okay. And it also has so this is the input for X. input for x, okay, x is this system. Now output for x, my output is q1, q0, and y, okay, and also what y needs, which is t in this case, okay. If my y is SR, for example, for part C, then you would need S1 R1, S0 R0. But in this case, we're using T flip-flop, so we have a T1 and T0. Okay, so again, we actually have this whole thing right here, right? X Q1 Q0 Q1 T plus 1 Q0 T plus 1. Just going to copy it down here. Okay, so now how do we fill out Y? Y is Q1 not a T, Q0 T, or with X T. So again, I'm going to use that trick again. I'm going to look at, this is an OR, so I'm going to look at this first. If this X is 1, then my Y is going to be 1 because this is an OR. So immediately I know for sure these are 1 because my X is 1. Okay. So now I'm going to look at this part right here. So I'm going to look Q0. If Q0 is 0, I know that this AND is going to be 0. Then I know my Y is going to be 0. So Q0 is 0. Then I know immediately that this is 0. And this is also 0. Okay. So now I need to look at this part. Q1, a T is 0 here. That means not of that is going to be 1. 1 and with 1 is going to give me 1. Now here, Q1 is 1, so not of Q1 is going to be 0. 0 and with 1 is going to give me a 0. Okay. Now I've finished with Y. What is T in this case? Remember, we need to get this T from the excitation table. So this is the excitation table for T. I'm going to look here and I'm going to look T1. I'm going to look at Q1 and Q1 of T and Q1 of T plus 1. So I'm going to look at these two. So this is my present state. This is my next state. So if present state is 0, next state is 0, my T is going to be 0. If present state is 0, my next state is 1, my T is going to be 1. My present state is 1, my next state is 0, that means my T is going to be 1. So I just have to use that excitation table and fill this T1 out. Okay. So same thing for T0, except we're going to look at Q0 of T. And Q0 of T plus 1. So present state is Q0 of T, next state is Q0 of T plus 1. So 0 and 0, my T is 0. 1 and 0, 1 and 0, my T is 1. Okay, present state is 0, next state is 1. That means my T0 is 1. So just fill out this table using the excitation table. Okay. So now that we have the truth table, the next step is to draw K-map. Now a lot of people get confused on how to lay out this K-map. So one trick is to, again, know which one is X, which one is Y. So Y in this case is the T flip-flops. That means we have a T flip-flop. So we have like a box that have T in it. And then we don't know what's going to come in here. So what we need to know is to write a function in terms of T. So I have my box like this. So I have a box, which is a T flip-flop, so I have T here. And yeah, so this is my T box, right? My T flip-flop. So I don't know what's gonna come in here. So I need to write a function T in terms of something else. And when that something else is what our input is. So on this side, I would have X, and then I would have Q1 and Q0. So I have X because remember when we fill out the tables, we know these values. It goes from 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So we have X. Let's write it in this way. So X, we have X, and then we have Q1, and then we have Q0, right? Now, what are we trying to get? We're trying to get T. So on this side would be my T, okay? So that's how it's laid out. So here it's just going to be 0, 1, okay? And then my Q1, Q0 is just going to be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. Okay, so I have two T's, so I'm just going to have two different K-maps for each for one of them. So I'm going to look at T1 first. So when I have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, my T1 is 0. Okay. So when I have 0 as X, Q1 is 0, Q0 is 1. This one right here. Then my T1 is 1. Now when I have X is 0, Q1 is 0, Q0 is Q1 is 1, Q0 is 1. So 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, then my T is 0. Okay, so 0, 1, 0 is this row, 0, 1, 0, my T is 1. So I'm going to fill this out by looking at this truth table right here. It's going to be 1 here, 0, and then 1. Okay, so after we get the K map, we just have to circle them like before when we learned how we learn K map. So this is going to be, I'm going to make one circle here. I'm going to make one circle here. And to cover this one, I'm going to make a circle here. Okay, so this is for T1. So T1 is going to be Q1. So let's look at the circle. With this circle, they agree on Q1 and Q0, and they don't agree on X. So it's going to be Q1 of T. This is Q1 of T. Not. And then Q0 of T. Okay. So that's this one circle. Now let's look at the circle right here. So they agree on both Q1 and Q0, but they don't agree on X. X is 0 for this one, X is 1 for this one. So this one is going to be Q1 of T and with Q0 not of T, since this is a 0. Okay. Now let's look at this circle right here. they agree on Q1 not, and they don't agree on Q0. Since this is 0, this is 1. They agree on x being 1, so this is going to be x of t. So now we have the function of t1 in terms of q1, q0, and x. Now, let's do the same thing for t0. So we also have this, and then we also have 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So same thing, we just have to look at t0 now. And we're going to look 0, 0, 0, t0 is 0, 0, 0, 1 is 1. So just fill out this table using the truth table we have up there. It's going to be 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. Okay? So now we need to circle them. And then these are just individual ones, so we need to do each one of them. Okay? So my T0 is going to be, for this one is going to be Q1 naught of T, Q0 naught of T, and then X is 1 in this case, so it's XT. And now for this one in Q1 naught T and Q0 T, and then X naught. So this one is going to be Q1 T. This is 0, so it's going to be Q0 naught of T. And X is 0, so it's going to be X naught of T. Okay. So that's what we have for T0. Now, we're almost done. Our next step is just to draw a diagram or circuit, whatever. So what we have is we have two T flip-flop boxes. So we'll have two T flip-flop boxes. This is gonna be my T1. This is gonna be my T0. And then here I'm gonna have Q1 naught, and then Q0 and Q0 naught. Okay, and so you just have to follow this. You have Q1 and then Q0, and then you have Q1, Q0 naught, and then Q1 naught, and then you also have an X up here. Okay, so this T1 is going to be equal to Q1 naught and with Q0, so you're going to have an and here, and these two together, and then you can have a Q1 and with Q0 naught, so you're going to end these two, and then you're going to have a Q1 naught and with X, it's going to end these two, and you're going to OR all of them, or all of these three together, and then you're going to feed into this T1. And then same thing for T0, you're going to do and these, and these three, and these three, and then you're gonna OR all of them, and you're gonna feed into T0. And then these are gonna come back. This Q0 is gonna come back here. Q0 not's gonna come here. Q1 is gonna come here. Q1 not's gonna come here. And then don't forget about your output Y. So Y, this output Y, it's just gonna be Q1 not a T, Q0 T, or with X a T. So we're gonna have Q1 not here, Q0 is gonna come here. You AND them two together, and you're gonna OR with this X, and then it's gonna give you an Y out here. Yeah. So hopefully that is clear. If you have any questions, just put in the comments below or make a post on Piazza.